Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this session on AEO. I'd request Arun to quickly brief about AMTOI and FFFAI, and then over to Harish ji for introduction on Dr. Joshua.
Thank you, Priya, and namaskar to all. It's afternoon, just about noon rather, and so good afternoon to everybody. I was just joking with Dr. Joshua just now that he's looking very serious and people should not be scared of AEO now because of his seriousness on this. But that was jokes apart. Just wanted to quickly brief you about what AMTOI is and what, of course, most of you are also familiar with AMTOI and FFFAI, but just giving you a small brief on what AMTOI is. So AMTOI is basically an association of multimodal transport operators. Now, multimodal transport operators are all those companies which are registered with DG Shipping under Multimodal Transports of Goods Act, and who are authorized to issue combined or multimodal transport document or multimodal transport bill of lading. So there are around 1,600 odd MTOs in the country, of which almost around 350 are our members, and they are all prominent, logistics players in ocean. Of course, there is a lot of cross membership, so we are almost all of us are also FFFAI members, and FFFAI is also very well known. It's a federation of all the custom brokers associations, and it also has a lot of individual associate members. For example, I'm a custom broker and I'm a member, being a custom broker at various ports, but my company is also directly a member as an associate member. Similarly with Priya, I mean, this is what I know about. I'm sure Harish Bhai is also a member. I'm not really sure. Yes, he is. So we are all, members of FFFAI as well as AMTOI. Now, this particular AEO program was focused on the MTOs, and it was actually designed for bringing awareness in the MTO community on the relevance and the importance of AEO program. But AEO program as such, we all know, is beneficial to all logistics service providers. So that is basically AEO law, which Dr. Joshua here, a very dear friend of mine, is a pro of, and that is why we have picked his brain and asked him to make us all aware of it. So I think that that introduction would be sufficient. What do you say, Priya?
Well, let Mr. Harish to introduce Dr. Joshua.
Yes. Harish bhai, you're on mute.
So yeah, thanks, Arun, I guess, but still, we will still need to introduce Dr. Joshua, and I don't know, his introduction, if we really go to take the introduction, it's going to take a long, long time. I've tried to make it as concise as possible. So for everybody, good afternoon. And so Dr. Joshua has over 35 years of expertise in customs and international trade. He has held significant roles at companies such as MSAS XL India, now DGF, NYK, now USIN, and DB Schenker, specializing in trade compliances. He was recently the Director of Customs and International Trade at Lakshmi Kumaran and Sridharan Attorneys, Mumbai. Currently, he is the Principal Consultant at Newco FFFAI Trade, focusing on international trade and customs laws. So Dr. Joshua has contributed to WCO tools, including the WCO SAFE framework of standards since 2005. He has represented India at the WCO IFCBA Global Meet and spoken at multiple WCO AEO conferences. His collaboration with the Directorate of International Customs on various transformation projects and mutual recognition agreements has been instrumental in shaping international trade practices. So, Dr. Joshua, the stage is all yours. Please enlighten us.
So before Dr. Joshua starts, just a quick instructions to all our audience. Dr. Joshua really wants this session to be more interactive. In fact, he wanted a meeting platform instead of a webinar. That's why the chat is open for everyone and can be sent to everyone. Please keep responding to his off and on questions so that we know that you are absolutely active and listening. And we would also request that any specific questions, Q&A, please use the Q&A box for the questions, not the chat box for the questions, but general responses, let the chats keep coming in. Thank you very much. And over to Dr. Joshua.
Thank you. Thank you, Priya. And thank you for the overwhelming introduction by Harish Bhai. And thank you for the nice introduction about AMTOI. I got to know a lot of things about the number of members and what role that you play. Amazing. Thank you, Arun. And thank you for everyone joining this session. I am not a new face to you, and neither, I know, as Priya said, it will be good to have a video. Maybe if there are some constraints, we cannot do anything. All right. Today, this initiative is something very new. Across India, no one has done some sessions like this. I would give the entire credit to AMTOI as well as FFFAI, because they are the people asked, can we do a session on do's and don'ts of LO? I was a bit hesitant and I asked them a question. Is it a 1% requirement or is it a large audience requirement? And then I got a feedback saying that there are multiple sectors wanted to know, they are clueless about how to leverage AEO. Then we decided, okay, let's do a session on this. So there's going to be a first of session, because usually you would have heard sessions coming out from department consultants on what is AEO, how to apply for AEO. But this is the first time after so many years, we are trying to do a different approach and to give a different paradigm view to this program. So I'm thankful for everyone who joined the session. I'm sure that you will not be disappointed at the end of the session. On which are the counts, there will be some surprises for you for underestimating this program. There could be some insights, greater insights, revelations for someone who are already there in the program. Oh, this much. And of course, for somebody, it's only an information. So, diverse audience, let's see how you receive. Always we would love to have interactions, but when you are in presence, we can do that. But when virtual sessions, it's not possible. And we also have limited time. So I will need some volunteers. Maybe Arun is there, definitely. So I'll pick his brain, Arun. And also from the audience side, if anybody can respond to me, it'll be like a dialogue. So I ask a question and somebody can give an answer. So let's start with Arun. Arun, do you drive a car?
Of course.
Oh, very good. So do you ride a bike?
I do that too.
You do that too. You being in Delhi, nobody else will know better than you about the role of PUC. What does PUC stands for?
Pollution under control.
Very good. And do you do a lot of research about PUC, or you just go to a bunk and just stay there, pay 100 rupees and get the PUC done and go back?
I would actually be honest on this. Yes, I do the second part. I go to the petrol pump, get the PUC done and get the certificate, and that's it.
Okay. Have you come across anyone in Delhi asking you a question? Why do we need PUC?
Probably everybody understands, so nobody bothers to ask. Yeah, we do know that we need to keep the pollution under control, and that's probably why the regulation was formed and followed.
Okay, you used an interesting word, regulation. What regulation was formed?
Now you're getting very tricky. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a good, honest answer. Okay, regulation formed. So you came up to the level of regulation. Okay, regulation supported by a rule supported by an act supported by our constitution borrowed the global implementations. That's how it goes on, right? But the user who goes to the who's very much compliant in PUC, and especially being in Delhi, everybody wants high rate, and the current fiasco which is going on Delhi. But no one went back and asked, what on earth I'm doing? Why do I pay this 100 rupees? How important it is? I will go on record and I'll tell you, the last renewal in Mumbai, I have done it in one bunk. It was slightly drizzling. I was waiting outside. You know what this guy came and told? Sir, you give me your last PUC copy. I will. He said, no need. Gaadi band kar dijiye. Gaadi band kar dijiye. I will give you the last report as it is, and you pay me 150 rupees or you pay me 10 rupees less. For a common man, that looks a good business deal. Wow. Usually he charges 150, he's charging 10 less or 20 rupees less, and my time is saved and I go. You see the perspective, how the audacity which he has to come and offer, which means he's been doing that for a while. Monitoring is poor. And we never know how many every city is at hundreds and hundreds of PUC center. What it shows to you and me, two things. As a user, beyond that paying 100 rupees, 200 rupees, you don't know why you're paying. The facilitator who is giving you the PUC, he himself doesn't know why he is doing. For him, he says it's waste of time for switching on the generator and putting the equipment and measuring the emission. For him, it's immaterial. Now, in India, I would compare this directly with the same analogy with the customs brokers, other LOs as well. Of course, 20% are informed, 80% are not informed. Paradise law applies everywhere. Now, if this is how we approach a program, and then we land into problem, or when we complain that there is no efficiency, then who is to be blamed? Probably this is a good time for everyone to, at least, if not, you don't need to go back to Stockholm Convention or Basel Convention or Montreal Protocol. At least the latest Paris 2015, everyone supposed to know what is this Kyoto Protocol, which was superseded by Paris Agreement, and why COP 27, COP 28 is happening. These are all general knowledge, how the world is thriving to get, net zero in 2050, and how you and me are participating in that race by paying this 100 rupees, 200 rupees, by shifting to green energy or shifting to Bharat 6, etc., etc. So that's not the discussion. But the point is that everyone who was present in this call, 100 plus people who are present in this call, should also today understand we are doing a program. What comes in our mind is what benefit that I'm getting. The service providers are asking, my overheads are increasing, pay me more. The service recipients are asking, what benefits I will get. If there is no attractive benefits, then probably people are signing off. So this is a good example that you can keep it. And now we will ask certain questions to ourselves. First of all, why did I become an AEO? Can I get some answers from the floor? Why did I become an AEO? Anyone can.
You can answer in the chat box.
You can answer in the chat box as well. Or maybe if nobody is volunteering, then I need to ask you the question. Are you an AEO, Arun?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Tell me, why did you become an AEO?
Honestly speaking, when I got to know of the program, that was prior to 2016, prior to the circular of easing it. I did speak to a few people. I thought this was a very good program for us internally. It will also make our process and our systems strong. And I'm not even bullshitting. I mean, people can say that just for the sake of saying it, but I did inquire, and I spoke to Mr. Atri, who was, I think, probably the first AEO in AEO law. And he said, Arun, it's too cumbersome. And it is actually just following that we had a meeting at the North Block and at the board, where we were asked this question: do you know how many AEOs are there? And incidentally, because I had done that research on that, so I went on and said that there are, I think it was at that time 7. And I said, Atri Saab, who's with me, is also a AEO, and he's just a new AEO. And he said, aren't you ashamed that there are so few AEOs in India?
Thank you. So I think you gave the right answer. Okay. So participants also putting their comments in the box, chat box. They wanted some preference. They want get some facility. They want some, the different views are the people are putting. Okay. So there is a different perspective from each one of you. Why did you become an AEO? So, but you can have different ideas. Okay, I want AEO because of this, my own interest, because my importers are insisting that I become an AEO, then only they'll give business. Otherwise, they will not give RFQs, constrained or propelled to become an AEO. So there are various
But
criteria.
that is post that circular or 2016 circular. If you recall, it is only when it was made easier in the circular and the benefits were granted. It was based again on a proposal that we had put forward to the board, that you need to make it more lucrative, because there was ACP at that time for the general trade, importer exporter, and that is when AEO got modified and the new AEO circular came in. And after that, there has been some benefit. So yes, after that, it has kind of made it more lucrative for people to join. But earlier, it was pretty much cumbersome. Sorry, sorry for that interjection. Sorry.
No issues. It's all a good perspective. Because you are the only one can speak on behalf of the trade, so you have to speak. Okay, thank you for that. So here, an importer looking at an AEO program in a different way, a logistics operator is looking at the program in a different way. All benefits which is spelled out in the circular, as you rightly pointed out, predominantly supporting an importer. Now, as an LO, what is my benefit of me becoming an AEO? I wanted to share one slide to all of you. One single slide. Can you see my slide?
Yes, it's visible.
It's visible, right? Okay. Now, if you see the slide, what do you see on the slide?
It's a chain.
The chain is strong. The chain is strong. The slide says, you've seen it, right?
Yep.
Only as its weakest link.
Weakest link, true.
You can have 100 chains, meticulous chain, but the strength of the chain is as equal to its weakest link. If one link is broken, what is the strength of that broken link? That is the strength of the entire chain.
Entire chain, true.
Now, when this program came in, of course, everybody knows about this program because you're all service provider. I am not here to definitely bore you with what is this program, when did it got introduced, nothing, definitely no. Okay. So when this program came in, many people, like Arun said, wanted to do it, but they used a word called, it's very cumbersome program. There are a lot of things to be done. Why do we choose a program? So when it was introduced to you, it was not introduced to you with the right positioning. In India, there are some cars, for example, Fiat. They're beautiful cars, which is globally even today recognized. But in India, the positioning was incorrect. They have to close their shop and they need to go back. Likewise, this concept was introduced incorrectly. I need to give it on records this very clearly. Or probably it was received incorrectly. No one told you that there is an impact happening, that we are all going to suffer. It is for the environmental cause we are implementing these rules. It is for this particular reason we are doing this. Had only this was communicated to the trade, I am sure you don't need to tell them to pay 100 rupees PUC. Everybody will voluntarily come and do this. Today, they consider this getting a PUC certification, it is for insurance purpose, or it is to comply with certain laws, or it is for some mandatory requirement. But nobody understood that you are actually contributing directly to the safety of environment by switching from fossil to renewable energy, by avoiding 15 years old cars, switching to a new Bharat 6. Nobody is very clear about it. They thought it's a burden. Even the manufacturers are saying, give us more time. We will not be able to do it. But the whole idea is, how do we reduce 2% temperature? Otherwise, we have some catastrophic consequences. Similarly, this program also came out, as I explained in the last September, because of safety and security reason 9/11, this program also motored. But we still not able to understand how a 9/11 program can be controlled by way of an AEO program. So this is where the gap is. All our focus was how do I reduce my cost? How do I get some benefits? How do I secure business? Because if I'm AEO, when you go in this way, it is like reading for examination in the last hour, last 1 week. Probably you will not get anything from the subject. So this session will open your brain to think twice that am I becoming an LO? For what reason? You need to ask this question to yourself. For what reason I become an LO? I'm sure in this call, sizable people are LO for a longer time. What have you done? For example, question number one, what you need to ask. Who did this work for you? You became an LO. That's a tagline. Arun says that I became an LO. Now, if I may ask a question back to Arun, Arun, who did this work for you? Did you do this? No, I did not do this. Somebody in my office or some consultants would have engaged and they would have done the work. So, which means still I do not understand the objective of this program. I need AEO. How much you will charge? You pay a fees and somebody would have done it for you. Or you would have asked somebody in your office to do that work. And after getting that certificate from customs, LO, you will immediately frame it and do a good branding in your visiting cards. You will hang a photo frame and tell the world that you are AEO certified. But you need to ask the second question. Have you ever opened that file and checked what have you told in the file to the government?
Let me answer that question before you move forward.
Yeah.
So in my case, I have got AEO done and I have got an AEO renewed also. So because it is 5 years and it was, it required renewal. And I have done both 100% myself with my team, of course, because you have to involve your team to get things right. And I have trained my people to that compliance of the AEO as well. And I have been a very strong, supporter of AEO. Joshua, you already know this. So I'm just telling for the audience that doing AEO was more for my own company than for getting any benefit. I've seen a lot of questions in the chat box. Okay, what is the benefit? So I did it for myself because by doing that, I fixed a lot of internal processes and it made us a little more efficient. So
very good.
That is how it was.
Thank you. So the question which I was asking, how many of LOs in this country have done the AEO certification like Arun on their own? The answer may be we do not want to know that. Okay. Because I know as of today, at least customs brokers, at least 10,000 customs brokers. AMTOI, you said 300 members out of larger numbers. So altogether, we are talking on 5 digits. We are talking on 5 digits. Legitimate business owners. As of June, we have only 882 LOs in this country. How many? 882 LOs. Imagine close to 1.5 lakhs importers and exporters are served by these number of customs brokers, freight forwarders, and NVOCC operators, and other service providers, shipping lines, airlines, etc., custodians. But if you take the statistics today, 2005, the trigger happened. 2011, pilot project introduced. As Arun pointed out, 2016, we got the revised circular. And today we are in 2024. And one set of LO is asking, what are the do's and don'ts that we need to do? What about the remaining LOs? They care nothing about this program. When it becomes mandatory, we will see. As of now, it is voluntary. I don't need to do it. You could see from the statistics, 800 people in this country, and on which 100 plus people are present in this call, or 118, precisely 118 people are present in this call, to know what are the do's and don'ts. So what about the remaining 700 people? They are still not into the chain. Now, imagine if you are not an AEO, and I am an importer coming and asking you, Mr. X, please tell me, is it important for me to get AEO? what answer you will say? Sir, that is absolutely waste of time. You will not get any benefits, whatever they have said it. And the documentation is too much. Nobody will have the time to do this. If you go to a consultant, they're charging in lakhs. Why would you go and give all about your documents to customs and allow them to come and ask question back to you? Just be silent and continue the work. Who's telling? A 700 LOs in this country are currently into the program, are promoting or not promoting, we are not aware. But the remaining thousands and thousands of LOs are going and telling explicitly as well as implicitly to the trade that this is not a program which is important for us. That was the reason today the country is having only 154 AEOs because we consider T3 as AEO. T2 is just stepping inside. T1, we don't consider that as an AEO. Okay. Because it's compliance. It's a basic compliance. The program is mainly based on safety and security. So safety and security comes only in T2 and T3 is full. So which means we have 1,134 T2 in this country and 154 T3 and 3686, that is 3,600 people as T1. Now, if you see the landscape gives you certain signal. This program is not very important for me. The whole idea of me, AMTOI hosting me to present over here is to tell you, yes, you have a right to stay away from this program. You have a right to stay away from this program. But you have a responsibility to get yourself enrolled and to deep diving into the program. So those people who are already into the program, I am going to say you walk further, but also you dig deeper. So the session is going to give you an idea of how do we dig deeper into this program. So first segment, is it an international program? Yes, it is an international program. Who is responsible in rolling out this in every country? The World Customs Organization under a framework called Secure and Facilitate Framework of Standard. We call it a SAFE FOS. This framework is responsible to roll out this program. So the second question is SAFE framework is equal to AEO? No, the answer is not AEO. The answer is the core element of SAFE framework is sharing advanced manifest between customs to customs, introducing risk management concept between customs, and introducing non-intrusive techniques by the customs administration and promoting AEO program. So there are 4 core elements. Out of these 4 core elements, if you carefully read me, the first 3, what I said is, after your importer or exporter triggers certain event, then you try to arrest or control. But only this program is reactive, which means before an event is triggered, you have the ability to control the program. So when you read the circular, generally people are confused. I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. If you have a paper and pen, I am talking to LO. If you have a paper and pen, just write this 5 letters in your paper and pen. 2 C's, 3 P. You may put P number 1 is equal to premises. P number 2 is equal to process. P number 3 is equal to personal. And the C number 1 is cargo. C number 2 is conveyance. That's all. If you can able to visualize the controls among these 5 letters, you are done with AEO. Now, as a LO, what is not clear to me is what I need to do, what I need to tell my importers and exporters. You play a role, as I told you, you are only strong in a very limited aspect. Because when I take the entire process of supply chain, you also a part of the supply chain. I cannot leave you outside, so I need to bring you inside. Everyone cannot ask this question, what will I get? What will I get? That is why you need to understand, why do you enroll into this program? It is, you always need to bring this analogy of the PUC certificate versus the environmental contribution. Similarly, it is our national security. Even customs has changed their perspective. Their job is to levy and collect duties, but now they are facilitating. Which means if you are an extended arm of customs recognized by customs, you should also facilitate. How do you facilitate? Remember this concept. Unless you receive it vertically, you cannot give horizontally. You may repeat, or you can write it, or you can say it after me. Unless I receive it vertically, I cannot give it horizontally. Which means you bringing in importers, exporters are horizontal approach. But here what I am trying to tell, have you understood what this program and what it will contribute and what it will do to you? If this is not clear, then we will not be able to speak about this program to anyone. So the first thing is this program globally successfully implemented, but under the pretext of till 2017, voluntary compliance. But after 2016, when the TFA came into entry in force, it is also part of Article 7.7 in TFA, that is Trade Facilitation Agreement. So it becomes a mandatory obligation for a customs administration to implement this program seriously for their importers and exporters. Yesterday, I was there in a place. Assume in a city there are 100 thieves are there. Some thieves are saying that we are good thieves. Some thieves are bad thieves. What do they mean by good thieves? The good thieves are saying, we go and steal and give it to the poor. We don't keep anything for us. Robin Hood story. We go and take the plunder and give it to the needy one. So that is the reason for that we steal. They are good thieves. Another set of thieves are saying, we want it for our selfish reason. So we go and murder people and we steal and we get all those kind of items from other people. Now there is an enforcement comes in play. Now the enforcement is looking into all the 100 people. Now the enforcement takes a strategy. Why do I focus on all 100 people, 100 thieves? Let us use a yardstick. They are claiming that they are good thieves. What is a yardstick that I need to use? Okay, those people who are using the Robin Hood theory of looting the wealthy people and giving it to the poor people, probably they will never kill anybody. They only loot and they will give it to the poor people. So maybe my enforcement agency's machinery need not to be focused on them. We can use some kind of a different yardstick to handle them. But those people who are going and committing the bad thieves, killing people, destroying houses, etc., need serious enforcement. So we will channelize our resources to this side. So by doing this, they are able to get the entire 100% of that X on the table. And then they are able to distinguish who's good, who's bad. And they are facilitating the good and they are going after the bad. How do they facilitate? They say your motto is correct, but the method in which that you're doing is wrong. So they try to change the process of these good thieves by infusing some right ideologies into their mind and trying to convert them back into a good citizen. So if that be the case, in our scenario, when you have so many importers and exporters are left outside the program, how do you think an administration can understand who are the good importers, who are the bad importers, unless they don't come into the program? And I am telling you, whatever promotional measures the government of India takes without the support of customs brokers, without the support of any LOs, it is very, very difficult for them to penetrate into this importers and exporters market. You can call the commissioners, can call the importers directly. They can write a letter directly. It will result in suspicion. You know, one way you are going after my people and you are reprimanding my cargoes. On the other side, you are telling, oh, you please come over here. I'm going to give you some facilitation. No importers in the country is prepared to believe that statement. There is obviously a trust deficit which prevails. And who is the best person to bridge the trust deficit is only this community of LOs. But if LOs itself is not into the program, who then can be a bridge and who then could be an ambassador for this program? So the main reason for me to explain to you about the 3 P's and 2 C's are, if you as an LO keep the program out, keep the circular out, you take your premises. You may be having all LOs having an office, maybe a transit warehouse, maybe a warehouse. Okay. or you will have multiple branches office. What does this P requires from you? What does this P? See, you have done this work. You went and told that I'm complying on this following areas. You have given a declaration already, but still I'm elucidating to you back on one aspect called P. What does this P stands for? Your total perimeters, whether it is controlled, which means whether it is access control. That's all. Everyone at a blink of your eye, you will say, yes, of course, nobody can enter into my office. All what they are asking is put it in records and make sure that what was implemented in your office is monitored regularly and continuously it is improved. So which means when you enter, is there a visitors register, biometric or access card, whether all the doors are closed, whether you have lock and key. Is any office leaving without locking the office? All your documents are secured, all your things are done. But what they're saying, whatever you are doing it, put it in a document, create an SOP. Every LOs are creating an SOP for your importers and exporters. So you are expected to first create an SOP that anything which is vulnerable, you are storing your records, confidential informations, contracts, keeping certain important documents, how well it is a process-driven process control. If at all a third-party vendor walks in, whether he will have access to that information. So this is how the first P stands for your premises, whether your premises is secure. The second P comes for your process. How well anything that you move in your office, it has to be captured as a process. All of you know about how a flow chart works. Whatever you're doing, start from your first step till the last step. As this today, you create a flow chart. Now, many office will say, boss, we are occupied with transaction. We do not have time to do this. That is why it calls for wisdom that every LO should have one person designated in your office. It should not be in the capacity of managing director. It should be in the capacity of a middle manager, a manager level person or a general manager level person should own this process, which means if there is any modification to be done, you should be responsible. If there is any addition or deletion to be done, everyone should approach you and you should have a control. If LOs does not have this control in your office, or if you have not created a position, maybe it should be driven from top. Someone in your office needs to take that control. Because if you go to a personal record of doing a background verification to your HR department, they will never obey to your command unless it is told from above. So if you are a big office, you will have to bring this from your top. If you are a small office, at least you need to designate somebody because it is not for a scapegoat. It is definitely one person in your office need to be designated. So if you're taking a dues from me, number one, there should be one person who is responsible in every LO's office of 886 people. One person should be made responsible. That means he should have the file and he should know what is inside the file and he should be thorough of what he has informed customs and he should be able to implement what was told in the file in the office. Now, is it possible for an existing clearance manager to come and do this work? Absolutely not possible. Is it possible for a HR person to come and do this? Absolutely not possible. That you need to take a call. Who is this one person is going to be? That I leave it to you. Different organizations have different dynamics, but you have to nominate one person. This is your mandatory requirement. If that one person is not there, who is responsible? Nobody will take the blame tomorrow. If there is a process failure, who will be taking the responsibility? Everything will come on, of course, the owner of the company or the director of the company. But besides, who owns the process? Air freight is owned by air freight head. Sea freight is headed by a sea freight head. Warehousing, logistics, customs clearance, import, export, transportation. You have heads for everybody. But this program demands all of these people doing a dotted matrix reporting to one person. And who is that one person? It's high time that you take a decision and hand over the file to that one person. It may be a consultant, or it may be people like Arun who himself would have done that work. Maybe those days it's possible. In today's scenario, all of us are doing the rat race, and it is highly impossible for one person to do that work. So you need a project head or a AEO person. Okay. What this person needs to do on the process front, he need to take every process which is listed in the circular, which means that head needs to at least once he need to read the circular 33 of 2016. It is going to get amended now. The old circular we are as of today, we are following. If you want all the circulars to be seen in one place, you can go to aeoindia.gov.in. You will see there is a download and you can see all the circulars which is posted there. Read those circulars and make sure what LO's responsibility. Forget about benefits. That is for your marketing purpose. You tell your customer you get this benefit. But here you talk about your own internal company. What am I supposed to do? So open the file and check what process flow SOP that I had handed over to customs and what is currently happening in my office. Obviously, technology is coming inside. What was told 5 years back is no more going to be the same. There is vast amount of changes have been made in customs side. Obviously, you have also reciprocated and you have also changed your process. Has that been captured? Has that been captured? Can you sit on the file till the time, okay, my validity is 5 years or end of my CHA license. So I will then, when I go for a renewal, I will see absolutely that's a wrong approach. We are talking about vertical alignment and then we will go to horizontal alignment. Okay. So in vertical alignment, the first step is the first person. Who is the person who is responsible and how other people are reporting to them. Here you should not have any egos. Who is he to ask me? Who is he to tell me? That should not be the case. So the managing directors or the head of the functions need to ensure that it is a mandatory thing that whatever changes that you're doing, you need to update. So this person or the quality person, whoever there in the office, needs to modify the flow chart with the changes which is taking place and rewrite the SOPs for that particular aspect and release a fresh version, which means version 1.1 would have been released at the time of applying for AEO. Now you release version 2.0 and go on with version 2.2, 2.3, 2.4. It should be a controlled document, which means the one who is releasing the document should also get, one is the preparation, that is the maker, should get approved by one matrix and should get authorized by another matrix. So which means the RASI principle comes in play. Somebody is responsible, somebody is accountable, somebody will do coordination and someone it is information, RACI, RASI principle or RASI matrix. So every organization should have a very clear demarcation. If I am a project manager, I will become a coordinator. So I will get, someone will have to be accountable. Someone will be responsible. The owner of the company is responsible for anything happens. There is an accountability. Someone like an operating officer should take that responsibility. But the project manager is doing the coordination with other department. And he or she will be sending information to the downline as well as to the board. That is known as passing that information. So implement a RASI matrix. If you want to know what is RASI matrix, just go to Google and type RACI matrix. I think big fours are following that. You can read about it and you can implement this within your office. Okay. Now coming into this, we are in the second P. In the process, okay, I'm making changes. I have not done this, but I have made one serious blunder in my office, which means someone needs to check that and he has not checked. Because of that, there is an error happened. That error resulted in a financial implication for my importer. Now, how do you safeguard yourself? This is a beautiful tip that you can take it forward. Always, we try to record emails, try to tell the investigation agency, see, I have already told them, I have already sent the checklist, they have approved. We always have a mentality to absolve ourselves from any liability coming in. Now, here is a good opportunity for you. When you put a process, and if someone violates that process, and because of which there is an error happens. Now, let me just go back example. Again, you ride a motorbike. You filled in 10 liters of fuel. Now, the 10 liters of fuel should take you, even if it is 10 kilometers per liter, it should take you 100 kilometers. A simple common sense. Okay. Now, if your fuel tank becoming empty in the 5th kilometer, assume, or let's say in the 10th kilometer, the tank is empty. Will you go back to the next petrol pump and put another 10 liters? Or will you take your bike to the nearest mechanic shop and tell them, please find out where is the leak? Which one we will do? Obviously the second one, right? No sensible person will again refill the fuel. But if you commit a mistake and there is a process failure, it could be an internal process failure, it could be a process failure between your importers and exporters, or it could be a process failure with the regulatory authorities. Will you continue to follow the same process, which means you are equal to refilling the another 10 liters petrol? Obviously, it will be a loss for you. Again, it will go down. So which means you are following refilling process or you are doing a CAPA. CAPA means preventive action, which is under the circular under 0.3, which is expected from you. So you as a responsible LO needs to talk to your team member. Nobody will come and tell you that I've done a mistake. So you should create a process in such a way, a training, a learning and development culture to prevail in an organization of LO, which means when an induction happens, AEO should be part of an induction, which means AEO should have 1 hour of session. What is AEO? Why we have obtained AEO? What is expected from you? If it is not there, unless it is told, how will they know? Today in every office, 5 people knows about AEO. They think they are the custodian for this AEO. Rest of the people, they just walk and work in their own fashion. So this training, which you render in your office, should be your second aspect. That is your dues, that this should happen month on month. Because there are a lot of updations are happening. A lot of MRIs are, I'll come to that. A lot of MRIs are happening in this country. A lot of notifications. For example, let me just tell you a simple example. If you're a customs broker, you will be knowing this. All the AEO operators consignments, the assurance is that they will get a facilitation, 90-95% facilitation. But recently, if you see, all their bills are getting marked for examination. They were suffering. Now, everybody started fuming, but nobody knows how to bell the cat. So what we need to do, everybody started walking into the commissioner's room. Importers started walking into commissioner's room. See, your office is giving 100% examination order. Customs brokers started going and approaching the DC, AC, additional commissioners. But you know, where is the mistake? You have a CRM, which means client relationship manager. As per the circular, a nodal officer is designated for you in every custom station. So I directed a particular party to write to the nodal officer. The nodal officer sent it to their boss, and their boss escalated to DIC, and DIC sent it to NIC. NIC found out that the problem is not here. The problem is with NCTC, National Customs Targeting Center. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 problems are there. They reworked on that and they rectified the mistake. New patches have been upgraded. The problem got solved and a public notice was issued yesterday. Now, not yesterday, 2 days back. Now all the facilitations are happening for all the. As a responsible AEO, when something is happening, which is off what we told our importers and exporters, all your consignments will be either a DPD or it will be cleared without examination. When that examination kicks in, there is a process changes happening. Have you captured that process change? Have you notified that process change? This was not done. So like, for example, for everybody to understand, the wrong classification happened. We told in the SOP that we have 4 people checking, 2 people checking, so that 6I principles are involved. So none of our entry goes into customs will be unverified. We will be validating it. So we filed a correct classification. So some mistake had happened, which resulted in a penal implication. So tomorrow you will continue to do the same thing without doing an internal memo to that person who made the mistake or asking him or her why this lapse, what did you check, why you have not checked. So when you do that, that is known as corrective action. So when you do not have a process, you will not be able to pinpoint where exactly the mistake has happened. But if you follow a process flow, you will be able to backtrack and completely come to the point. Yes, exactly. This is where the problem happened. And we have rectified like this. Then you prepare a report and send it to your CRM or to the program manager, updating them that I am a broker, I am a LO, I am a service provider, I have committed this mistake, and we have rectified. Here is a revised rectification process for your records. If you do this tomorrow, if any authority comes and implicates you, you have a fantastic defense for you to say that I am not colliding with importer. We have already rectified the process. We have recorded it. We have also intimated DIC or the program manager about our correction. After we implement this problem did not occur. What a beautiful testimony that you can able to present before an investigation officer, which will prevent any officer taking action against you, even at the cost of anything. These are the beautiful ways in which that you can defend. So point number one, point number two, point number three, we have seen. Anything that you changes in the process needs to be done. When this person is entrusted with this responsibility, he will start looking into it. What else is not captured under a process? For example, today, data is very, very vital. You are holding treasures of gold, importers, exporters, data. So you're holding. For example, Apple will never allow a third party to touch their document. But as a customs broker, you have a amazing platform to hold information in your hand. You know the unit price, you know the value. A service provider like MTO operators, you have the bill of lading, you have the invoice. You are able to access the data. Now, if someone decided to loot this information from your office, how will you prevent anyone? If someone's saying, I'll pay you X money, can you just take out all these records and just send a photo to me? You are thinking that you are preserving the document for regulatory purpose for 5 years or 8 years for income tax, but someone enters into that record room and he takes whatever records or he takes whatever soft copies that you're scanning and sharing it to somebody. How do you know that it is happening unless you are not preventing it? Have you ever thought about it? This is also part of the process, record keeping, or you thought that, okay, I cleared the consignment, build it, I got the money and everything is over. Post doing that, where are you storing the records? What are the documents are being stored? Precious gold, you're storing it. And how well that you are meticulously preventing anyone accessing that information. It has to be processed. Okay, I'm not going to teach you how you need to put a record keeping process, but this is how the process man needs to find out areas. How do I load a container? How do the containers are complied with CMRV regulation? With the weight of the container, whether it is correctly balancing to the number of axles which is there, because the number of axles, say one axle can take this much metric ton, two axles can take this much metric ton. So if you are overloading it and tomorrow if it is getting non-compliant, if it is getting stopped, you will have to manage it. So how do you avoid it? So put that in record, whether the driver license is verified, PUC verified, axles, platform, before loading the cargo, create a checklist. Seals, if it is open for examination, what is a new seal? If it is not opened, what is a one-time seal? So these are the things, anything that moves in the process from starting the purchase order till GRN or vice versa for exports, you have to start capturing. Unless you don't nominate a person, you will not be able to do it. You may have a LO, but you don't have that process control. So it is high time that you nominate and read the circular and go and do a process. And if you miss, you go and report it back to the authority. There are a lot of responsibilities. You have given it in writing. I will do a whistleblower policy. If I see anything going wrong, I have the right to go and communicate this to customs. Does your office knows who needs to be contacted? Have you thought about them? So put a training module, create your own AEO presentation, or if you can't do it, you hire somebody from external people, make them to make a presentation, make it as a routine awareness, because safety and security plays a role. So we have seen the second P, the third P. The third P is personal. Now, here comes a lot of ego problems. Now, the circular says that anybody who's working in sensitive position, let's restrict ourselves to supply chain. All of our businesses there related to supply chain. If you're a manufacturer, probably you will have 10 other different divisions, except supply chain is one division. But our work is, we are part of an integral part of supply chain, logistics, customs clearance, or freight forwarding, shipping, everything is integral part of customs clearance. Now, someone who's working in your office, how do you know he or she having an unblemished track record? I have seen a lot of people, they have done in the initial days, they have made mistakes. What mistakes? Legitimate mistakes everybody can make. There are serious prosecutions were moved against people, and they are sitting as a director of companies today. They are sitting as general manager of companies today. You know what was the prosecution? Smuggling, colliding with importers and exporters. And show cause notices are there with them. And they are moving from one region to another region where there is no visibility, nobody knows about their past. And they're putting a big, beautiful cap as a Gandhi cap. Do you think that person, in simple terms, we say somebody buys the concept of jigat, somebody buys the concept of wrong doctrines, wrong ideologies, they will not be identified easily, but they are placed in strategic position. They will influence other people. They will be daring to do something wrong. How do you know? That is why the scheme is asking you to check past background historical check needs to be thoroughly checked. Now, what background verification you are checking? Which company that you worked? What is the role of HR? Which company? Get me 2 reference and call. How is he? What is the background? And finish. No. Here it calls for wisdom. Whether your policy permits you to engage a consultant to do a background verification check from their native place, from their hometown, from the customs authorities, which means CHA division, they would have denied applications of Form F or Form G. Do they have any records? They will have an update. Or to the local police station where they currently live or where they lived earlier. So this is the background check they need to do. There are agencies are there. They are meticulously doing it. Use that agencies. How can you use an agency when the policy itself is not altered? That is where the program manager of that individual yellow company needs to take this to the highest authority, to the board or to the managing director or to the CXO, and tell them that we have a requirement like this, amend the policy. It will cost the company, but still we'll have to do it. That is personal, because all my people, I need to say he or she will never do this. How will you say? Not by the face value, by their past historical record. If someone is indulging in some XYZ, he will dare to do the same thing again and again, because it becomes a habit in their DNA. Or he or she is sold for a wrong ideology. How will you know that? So that is why personal is important. So which means that general manager who's taking the responsibility of AEO in your office needs to ensure that HR policy is amended to this extent, and he is doing this background verification check. Now the question comes in, how often that I need to do it? Boss, it is up to you, but you do it periodically. For all new recruits, you have to do it mandatorily. And for all the existing employees, you do it at least once in 2 years, once in 3 years. Customs is not telling that you need to do it every 6 months. You define your period and you put a process and you implement it. So 3 P's we have seen. P1 is your premises. P2 is your process. P3 is your personal. Now we move to cargo. What is cargo? How cargo sensitive? You know, when the whole purpose of CTPAT coming in is, when 9/11 happened, they found out a lot of RDX were smuggled through containers. That is why they started focusing on container security initiatives. So they said, we wanted to scan the container at load port. Okay. So which means there is a point in time, there is a blind spot where a third party can access your cargo. How do you prevent it? Which means you stuff the cargo at your factory completely in a secured environment. But you bring the cargo into a CFS or port or ICD, it is completely in a secured environment. But when you're not bringing in that on the road, how are we tracking? Is that cargoes are completely accompanied with the GPS tracking? This process is cargo security. And then comes conveyance security. So cargo security and conveyance security are the 2 additional areas where, for applying AEO, you would have said that I'm doing this, where you're practically putting it. Today, GPS has become an advanced technology. Everybody are doing it, capture it in the process. So this is how 3 P's and 2 C's will be implemented within the structure of LO. Okay, now we move to the another important aspect. The question which comes in everybody's mind, what will I get? How will I facilitate? We now move to horizontal. All this while what we've seen is vertical. How will I rectify my house? How will I set my house proper? Okay. So for which this information which we have given. Now, how do I take this as an ambassador to the market? Now, what are the main benefits? How many of you in this, okay, maybe my audience is only Arun, okay, or Priya has also joined. Have you heard this word called MRA? What does MRA stands for and what is your understanding? Please tell me, sir. Oh, Arun gone?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, here.
You want me to confirm that?
No. I want to say I don't know. That is a good answer.
Okay.
I'll do that honors. I don't know in detail for sure.
All right. So, which means the fulcrum of this program is MRA. The fulcrum of this program is MRA. But what is MRA? Many people in Lelos are just blinking, saying, no, I didn't even know what is MRA. MRA stands for Mutual Recognition Arrangement. Now, how does this works? In the next 5 minutes, we are going to see that. Have you heard about this word earlier, Arun, anytime? You are on mute.
MRA.
MRA.
Yeah.
You heard about it.
We have 3 or 4 as in place right now, right?
Very good. Okay. So now my question is, what is MRA? We have 3 or 4. What is MRA? According to your understanding, you are representing the trade. So it can be right or it can be wrong. No offense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my understanding goes, it is a mutually recognized agreement between 2 nations to facilitate the AEOs of, the trade between the 2.
All right.
And,
okay.
Yeah, the motamoti, this is what it is.
Okay. Very good. Now here you see, there is a very, very important message which I'm going to give it to you. I might use 4 words. Okay. 4 words. You can take this word, 4 words. If you're there, normal inspection rate, moderate inspection rate, normal inspection rate, moderate inspection rate, reduced inspection rate, minimum inspection rate. My goodness. These are the 4 terms. I thought, okay, RMS facilitation, non-RMS facilitation. These are 2 words you heard. Okay, these are facilitated, these are non-facilitated. Now, within the customs system, you have this 4 classification. Normal inspection rate, which means it is a normal. Anybody who is non-AEO will get the moderate inspection rate. It is 1 step ahead. Reduced inspection rate, another 1 step ahead, minimum inspection rate. So now I am going to use a PowerPoint. Okay, and this will be faster. You can reserve your questions now. I'm not checking the chat box, so you reserve your questions once. These are the 4 words which I've shared. Now, what does it mean? In the first scenario, if you see here, there is 1 set is exporter, 1 set is importer. Here is also non-AEO, there is also non-AEO, which means the destination country will also use a risk parameter of normal inspection rate. The exporting country will do the same thing. Vice versa, you can do it for import and export, which means this is a no-brainer, normal inspection rate. The second category, which I'm showing on the screen is, if India or overseas exporter, if they are AEO, their logistics operator is AEO. For example, a 3PL company is AEO, exporter is AEO. In India, both are non-AEO. What inspection rate will be given to them is moderate inspection rate. So definitely because of shipper is AEO, shipper country is AEO, they will get slight facilitation in India. Okay, second point. Now we go to the third point. Now here, the same thing is Ulta. The exporting country is not an AEO, the importer country, the same moderate inspections will be there. Assume that we have MRA. Okay, now before I tell what is MRA, you should know, as Arun rightly said, it is between 2 countries. It's 2 countries are saying, because the whole purpose of safe pillar 1 is customs to customs cooperation. How do I cooperate with another customs? When I cooperate with another customs, what I'm trying to tell them is that I'll explain how this MRA works in. Before that, I will explain this moderate and normal and reduced inspection rate. Now, exporting country is non-AEO, which means exporter is non-AEO. Logistics operator is non-AEO. And the importer country is non-AEO. All the people involved in the supply chain is non-AEO. But AEO MRA is operational countries, which means India, and Arun said 3 or 4. Now today we have 7 AEO, 7 MRAs. I'll show that as well. If we have an MRA with a country, in spite of you are AEO or not AEO, you will get reduced inspection rates. Which means when you import goods from 7 countries into India, irrespective of whether you're AEO or not, you will not get moderate, you will get reduced inspection rate. Now we go to the 4th one. Now here, exporting country is also AEO, LO is also AEO. Importing country, importer is AEO, LOs are also, custom broker is also AEO. Also, we have an MRA with that country. We are talking about only 7 countries now. Okay, which are the 7 countries? I will tell you. Then you will get the maximum benefit of AEO, that is minimum inspection rate. So these are the people who will reap the best facilitation, that is 95% or 94% facilitation, they will be able to reap. Okay, so this classification we have seen. Now, practically to get an AEO, see, in this 800 people, I am sure you must be dealing with at least a sizable amount of exporters and importers who are already having T2 and T3. I'm not talking about T1. Okay. So now T3 is 150 plus and T2 is close to 1,100 plus. So altogether, we are talking about 1,300 people. 800 people must be dealing with these many people, out of which 100 people are present here. Now, have you ever, I'm asking a question to all the audience, have you ever promoted a MRA to anybody, any of your exporters or importers? You can just put a chat box and say, yes, I know what is MRA, and I have told my customers about MRA. And they have become, anybody can type? No. See, I get no. Not a single yes. This is enough. Not it. Did not know the details. Wonderful. See, boss, this is the fulcrum of the entire AEO program. We know everything other than that. What a beautiful misconception. Somebody did not give us the correct information. Maybe give thanks to AMTOI and take the credit. 19th July in your life, you will never forget it. Now I'll switch back to my presentation. Okay. Because all of you are listening to me something as if that is the first time that you're hearing. Okay, so I need to give you some more information as well, right? What is MRA? MRA means mutual recognition of AEO is a key element of WCO safe framework of standards, strengthening end-to-end security of supply chain and to multiply benefits for traders. Not 33 of the 2016 circular. It is the MRA which gives you the benefit. By mutual recognition, AEO2 Customs Administration agreed to recognize another AEO administration. So that is our version. Maybe I'll share this PowerPoint with you because of paucity of time. I'll just take some important aspects and I will move on. Okay. So these are the inspection rates which we have seen. Now the important thing is the word which I'm using here is called consent. Data protection is the biggest thing. For me to share your information to another customer, other customs, though I have a right, the law prevents me. So I need a consent from you. Practically, some details are exchanged between customs to customs under advance manifest. But economic operator are requested to provide their consent to exchange the details with partner countries. Unless you give this exchange, unless you approve this, nobody can share the information, even customs. Providing this consent is not mandatory, but if you want MRA, you need to provide this consent. Have you understood this point? So which means you as an LO, if you are not familiar with this, how will importers and exporters are going to know about this? Okay, so now what is consent? How this process works? First, there should be a political will. That means India should say, I will have an MRA with Pakistan. If government is not aligned, no customs can move ahead further. So which means the political alignment is required. So the government has already identified about some 49 countries and we are moving towards that. There should be an administration approval and that country or my country will have to share a letter of intent. Yes, I would like to have an MRA with you. And once that is done, a joint action plan will be devised between India and that particular country. Then what they will do is they will compare the AEO program. Okay, these are certain basic things from SAFE which both countries cannot avoid. India specific, we are giving this benefit. What are you giving? So this is joint action plan and the program comparison will happen. Once the program comparison happened, the other country, last week, South Africa was here in India. And that country will come here and they will do a joint visit to, they went to Manesar, they went to certain companies and they did the inspection. They will spend about 2.5 hours to see how Indian MRA, Indian AEOs are inspected, how they check, how the process are being followed, how meticulously it is being implemented. And vice versa, Indian team will go to South Africa and they will also check. This is joint visit will happen. And once this joint visit is finished, the tax negotiation, that is, what will be the benefit? This is an important thing. For example, one country will say that I'm exporting a lot of textile material. We are using a laboratory here to test. The India will say, okay, if you are testing under this standard, under this particular IS standard, if it is meeting, then I don't need to do the retesting here. Okay, so which means if any goods comes from your country, which is already tested, and if you are giving a report, I will simply accept, I will not ask for another testing in my country. Likewise, this is one example. Likewise, both will agree on various parameters. These benefits are directly translated to your exporters and importers. Then this will go for a legal vetting. Then a draft will be signed and the cabinet note is approved, and then finally the approval will come. Probably tomorrow, today is 19th. Today, India is signing the 8th one with New Zealand as well. So currently, these are the active MRAs: United States, Hong Kong, South Korea, Taiwan, Japan, Australia, Russia. So any of you are importing goods or exporting goods to this country, pay more attention. And probably the remaining countries, like what I'm showing to you, these are all there in the pipelines. MRAs under discussion. All right. Now we will go. This is just statistics. Globally, there are 97 operational programs, AEO programs, 20 more under development. 33 operational customs compliance program, 4 under development. 87 are bilateral, 4 are plurilateral, which means if we have a block, for example, currently there is something known as BIMSTEC. Okay, BIMSTEC. BIMSTEC is a replacement of SARC. 7 countries, which means we just moved Pakistan out and we are keeping the remaining Far East countries, and we created a BIMSTEC, Bay of Bengal initiatives. I'm sure you are aware about that, right? Now, BIMSTEC is 7 countries. Can we have one plurilateral MRA or a regional MRA? It all depends on each countries, how they are aligning with that. It's like ASEAN. There is a possibility we can have an ASEAN MRA, like Malaysia signed an ASEAN MRA. 78 MRAs under negotiation. This is how the joint action plan Singapore happened. The one whom I'm pointing out, this is our chairman. This is our head of AEO, Mr. N.K. Singh. And this is Dr. Pradeep, who's spearheading the MRA. This is Rajesh. So these are the team in DIC. And this is the member Bhujbal. This is a JAP. JAP means not Japan. JAP means Joint Action Plan with Bahrain. MRA with the USA. AEO MRA with Russia. So AEO MRA with Australia, Eastern African Communities discussion. Now latest with Russia. Okay, so this is how the government of India is also very active, and you will be seeing tomorrow in the newspaper about India and New Zealand MRA as well. So who can avail this MRA benefit? This is a question. As a LO, you need to know, is there anything from you? No, you cannot avail direct benefit, but you will be the beneficiary of that benefit. If your importer and exporter is getting certain benefits, if their turnaround times are reducing, their costs are reducing, then obviously you will be also doing it. Existing T2 and T3 operators only. Okay, they are the one. Over and above, I'm giving one additional information. It will be a surprise to you as well. This is one information which I'm giving to you. Okay. See my screen. You may not understand, but still I will try to explain. If South Korea exporter is having an MRA, India is having an MRA with South Korea. In India, you do not have, the importer is not having AEO status. LOs are not having AEO status. Even then, they will be able to enjoy the MRA benefits besides T2 and T3. This is a good news for you. Are you with me? You are able to follow what I'm saying? Even though Indian importer and exporter are not an AEO, but if the goods are imported from these countries where we have an MRA and they are AEOs, which means their goods will not be checked and they will get the reduced inspection rate. This is a good news for you. So how do we apply MRA? We come to the last stage. If you go to the website, AEO MRA website, you see this, right? Now, follow me carefully. There is a green color highlight called MRA benefit form. All the while we stand with this 3 lines. Please come down. There's the MRA benefit form. Now, you remember my word, you need to give consent. Unless you give consent to customs, you will not be able to move ahead. So first step is that if you are importer or your exporter, if you are among the 7 countries, open this MRA benefit form. Then it will look like this. Once you get that MRA benefit form, the second document under this is called OBIN generation form. Overseas Business Identification Generation Form. I am not giving you a complex navigation, very simple. See the cursor here, MRA form you need to fill in first, then you will get a Overseas Business Identification Generation Form. This is shipper specific, which means if you have 5 shipper in South Korea, you will have to fill up 5 forms for each shipper and you will get 5 different numbers from DIC. Okay. So now this OBIN form generation should be filed after MRA benefit form submission. So the first step is you'll have to fill the MRA benefit form. Then the second step is you'll have to go for OBIN form. Step by step. First, what you do, you click this module of invoice while filing the bill of entry. And then you go to the other details, select the other details, step 2. And here you will see 3 options: AEO code, AEO country, AEO role. I had put in 4 here. We'll have to add the other countries also here. AEO role should be OBIN. AEO country, you choose from which country you are exporting or importing. AEO code should be OBIN number generated for that particular supplier, which means if you are sending goods to 10 importer in South Korea, or if you are exporting it from 10 suppliers from South Korea, you'll have to make 10 different OBIN number. I hope I'm communicating. Once you have the OBIN number, if you are importing it from South Korea, Taiwan, USA, you must fill the OBIN number generation for each exporter to fully leverage MRA benefit. So once you receive the OBIN number, include this number while filing the bill of entry. And this follow the step-by-step guide. For example, South Korea, if you're doing it, they don't use the word OBIN, they use the word OBPC, Overseas Business Partnership Code. Okay, it is a 16-digit number. When you go to Taiwan, they use a different code called 17-digit code. This is how you will be getting these numbers. When you're going to UAE, they are giving a different number. So non-AEO also can avail, subject to the goods are coming from an MRA country. So if you are you could take this email ID, and this is a person. If you have any queries on MRA, if you want to know more about it, you can directly write to him and you get details from them. So our whole idea is to sensitize the trade. So this is the DIC team actually working on MRA. And our whole idea is how well that we can equip you. See, today, for some of you, you may be feeling very bad. Oh my God, this is something where existing, I was not even aware about it. So scan my number in case if you want and send me an email or a WhatsApp. Happy to assist you if you have any queries on MRA. Okay. So then I would like to stop here with my presentation. I hope I will recollect it. So we started with the question, why do you need to become an AEO? And how you can become an AEO is not the discussion. And how the importance and relevance of AEO, and what as a LO that you need to do, you should not do. We saw in a very macro level only. It is not a workshop, so I cannot take you through line by line showing this thing. In a macro level, I gave you some 3 Ps and 2 Cs. And also I explained to you what are these 3 Ps and 2 Cs, how you need to be convicted on this and vertically you need to receive it. Then only you will be able to teach, then only you'll be able to give it to your exporters and importers. And then finally, we saw the benefits are likely to change from time to time, but what is going to remain is MRA. And how you need to put some efforts in MRA and understand and use this as a business development strategy tool. You can go to a new exporter who's originating their goods from these countries and you can say, I would like to share with you something which other forwarders will not be doing it. And you can talk about MRA and secure a business also. It's an opportunity, right? So this is how you will be able to leverage vertically and horizontally and enjoy this, do deep diving, reaching further, digging deeper. Both should be in parallel in our terminology. You know, expanding business and targeting bottom line is definitely required, but also we need to, besides knowledgeable thing, this facilitation you need to understand, because it is part of Trade Facilitation Article 7.7, as well as based on the new circulars which is going to come out, the new approach and everything, which I cannot disclose with you, though I know a little bit of these things. Wait for the new approach, get yourself immersed into this, and I wish you all the best. We will meet in some other different workshop later. Adding over back to AMTOI. Maybe because of time is not permitting, we will also respond to the questions in a email form. So rest assured, if you put a question, definitely you will get answers. Okay. I will make sure that if not immediately today, I will definitely do it. There are experts are also there in this, like Jeevan Rao. They're all amazing work they're doing globally and internationally. You know, they will be able to support you as well. And if you are definitely interested, you can approach AMTOI. We are also doing some workshop region-wise, Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, you know, so that we can spend more time and equip you people to, you know, implement what we spoke in the sessions also. We'll be happy to do that. And definitely, I will not answer to generic questions because I am provoking you, I am facilitating, okay, you to go and read and understand, because by now you should be teaching, but you are, by now you should be eating meat, but you are drinking milk. So I want you to eat solid food, okay? So definitely I will not answer to simple, basic questions. If there are sensible questions are there, definitely by email, you can expect my answer. And I'm handing over back to you, Priya. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that wonderful session. We do have some questions, but I think I will send that by email because we are already short of time. You were going through in the perfect pace, so we didn't want to interrupt you in between. So what was more important was the training. And over to Haresh ji.
Wow. Okay. There are so many things that seriously even I did not even think existed. Forget knowing about them. So anyway, amazing. Thank you so much. So yeah, as we conclude today's, enlightening webinars on the AEO program, allow me to extend my heartfelt thanks, Dr. Joshua, for all your expert insights and your valuable contributions. Your extensive knowledge and experience have really enhanced, I can't say about everybody else, but my understanding about the AEO program and its critical role in our trade and actually the international trade also. So yes, at the same time, I'd also like to express my sincere thanks and gratitude to all the participants for their active engagement and some questions that they put in. I'm sure we'll share those questions with you. And it's questions like these that actually are instrumental in making any kind of a training session or a knowledge enhancement session a success. So it really helps us to understand each other. Now, just a little bit of what I understood the AEO program for our participants is like it's a cornerstone, of international trade facilitation and security, offering quite a lot of benefits to compliant businesses, if I may put that in the right statement. And our discussion today has actually highlighted the importance of, how do I put it, collaboration, compliance, and most of all, it's more about the continuous improvement in achieving all these objectives, what you spoke about, that everybody needs to, make sure that if there is a reporting, there has to be a reporting. If there is any change, there has to be a change in SOPs. Now, these are the things that actually in our regular business and every day we don't do. Like I'm confessing to the fact that yes, we do not actually get into something like this. And to the participants, I really hope you found the insights and information shared by Dr. Joshua today valuable, and let us continue to work together, act together to to enhance the trade security and efficiency through these AEO practices. And sir, Dr. Joshua, we will be bothering you on coming to you for more assistance and trying to get more in the our members, that's the FFFAI and the AMTOI members together, and see if they can also become AEOs to increase the number of AEOs. I promise on behalf of AMTOI and FFFAI that we will push a lot of our members to move towards this. So thank you, and I look forward to the continuous collaboration in advancing the goals of our other programs together. Thank you very much, Doctor. It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Most welcome,
I
sir.
can keep talking about it. I was really I was actually enjoying it so much. So thank you.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much. My pleasure. Thank you so
Thank,
much.
thank you very much, Dr. Joshua. Thank you, Arunji, also for joining. If you want to say something.
No, I'm always intrigued by what Joshua says, and he has so he deep dives into every small aspect, which is fantastic, which is what we need to learn. We have to, as a trade, adopt the AEO program. We have to understand, as he has rightly pointed out, we are looking for the right or wrong things. So let's find the right things, because AEO program is a extremely beneficial program for all logistics service providers. So let's do it together. Thank you,
So
Joshua.
I want to start. I want to start eating meat very soon.
Glad that. Make sure you don't eat cow meat, buffalo meats. All right.
Right.
Great.
Thank you
That's
so much.
solid food, yeah. So
Great.
pleasure, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful.
Take care.
Bye-bye.